Totes Recall.
Welcome to Totes Recall, the podcast where we talk about a movie we can't remember very well. Maybe we haven't seen it. Maybe we have. And then, we push pause on the recording. And what's happening? Pizza, salads. Hey. Thank you, patron. Watching that movie. Off mic. Coming back. Record happens again. Now we're talking about the movie and we know what we're talking about. My name is Dan.
This is Molly.
I'm also Dan.
And I'm Beth.
And our movie this episode in January, a very special January movie, is Starship Troopers.
I don't know.
I don't know any
A movie with a cult or a near cult following, probably.
A movie I confused with Spaceballs.
Wow.
Ooh, different.
Very different movie, apparently.
I think of another one, but I can't even think of what the name of it is. I just watched it. Last Starfighter.
Ooh, that movie
also
rules.
Very different.
Would watch that movie for the podcast in a heartbeat.
Let's, Dan, take a moment
Yeah.
where you explain to, on mic, the same question that was asked before we actually started recording, which is, why did we pick this movie?
Why did we pick this movie? Molly and Beth have not seen it, maybe have never heard of it.
Heard of it?
Yeah,
I know
confused
it's
it with
a
other
thing.
But
movies.
I don't know. I have no idea what it's about.
And I don't
I mean,
think
I
it's
have an
actually
idea.
Spaceballs, but every time I try to conjure up a scene, I end up with a scene from Spaceballs.
Sure.
Like a specific scene? Or just...
I just picture Mick Moranis with like
Nick Moranis?
Nick Mr.
Michelob
Moranis. Mr. Moranis
Yep.
with a very it's a Darth Vader that's maybe short.
I mean, that's Spaceballs.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
got a very big Darth Vader-esque helmet.
Yes, that's what I was
Okay,
thinking.
not
of.
this movie.
Not
No.
this movie at all.
But
There
that
are
is-
Well, you were
helmets.
That is
asking me
Spaceballs.
like what comes to mind. I'm trying to describe it for you right now.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are watching this movie because there was some strong preferences indicated by multiple people, multiple totes heads, that we should do this movie.
Okay.
Got it.
So there is interest.
So there's been communication to the podcast.
Yeah, fan engagement that we respect.
Yes.
Outside of respect, listener
Yeah,
opinion.
this is unprecedented.
Unprecedented level of respect we're showing our fans right
Hey,
now.
you want to get respected? I assume join patreon.com, get on the Discord, and yell at us
This was
about
on the Discord. Yeah.
movies.
Also, I have been excited to do this movie for a long time.
Awesome. Now, shut up for a second. Keep that enthusiasm.
Yep.
Bottle it up inside for the right moment to just explode with it.
Yeah.
I would like Beth and Molly to pre-call
Sure.
what they think happens in this movie.
REI sponsored.
REI
1
sponsored,
minute shared.
pending.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go. Are we ready for
Yes.
the pre-call? Go.
There's a space crew.
Okay.
Yes. What is this called again?
Starship
Starship
Troopers.
Troopers. Okay, so it's about the crew. They're probably kind of screw ups,
misfits.
right? Yeah.
And maybe they've been tricked even into this mission.
Yeah, but they definitely end up being the only group that can fight the bad guys that they need to fight
Or
to defend
achieve their
planet.
goal,
Yeah.
which might be either corporate or military or
30
ecologically
seconds.
based goal.
They have there's one woman.
Yes.
She's tough,
Okay.
Yeah.
but ends up being the love interest to the main character.
Yeah. And he has a beard.
They wear white
10 seconds.
jumpsuits and they shoot lasers.
Somebody gets like seasick, but for space. Oh, and I heard people die.
Time. Unclear if you actually at any point discussed what actually happened in this movie, but all great.
Hey,
all
great
great
bets.
predictions. Absolutely.
I feel like we did. We said that they have to accomplish something.
They achieve the goal, which might be military,
Corporate, ecological.
or ecological.
Wow.
Yeah. Great. Well, let's start with another easy-ish one. What year do we think this came out? I think
86.
90
I think 98.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
I think 90.
90s movie.
Oh, boy.
97.
Okay, I'm gonna change mine to 94.
Too late.
No, I can change it at least once.
I'll say 99,
Mm.
the year for good movies.
Nice.
Oh,
Great movie.
It is arguable if this is a good movie.
This, I will try to thread the needle of leaving
Yes,
things
absolutely.
to surprise, but also actually having content.
Right.
In the first half. This movie stars Casper Van Diem, Denise Richards, and a third person that I think Jaquette's bet we will be delighted and surprised to see. Them.
Agreed.
Okay, I don't know who that first person is.
Casper Van Diem. He's
Yeah.
in Starship Troopers. He seems like the kind of guy that would be a leading 90s man, but I can't think of anything else he's done.
Nice.
Or he seems like he should be on like an FX show,
Nice.
like in between Renegade and the other one that I watched on FX,
Great.
Mhm.
Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah, the TV show Highlander.
I believe this also has I can't remember which one it is. It's like one of 3 like gruff older men character actors who rule.
Yeah,
And like I will recognize them once I see them, but
like
I
a
am not.
Robert Loggia type.
Yes, but
Like
not
a Treat
Robert
Williams.
Kind of, but
But
like
not as wholesome.
He'll be like a general or something.
yeah, and he'll just be like he'll do what he does best in these kind of movies. I think I'm gonna make a bold bet that Jake Busey is also in this movie.
Wow.
What amazing.
Yeah.
Jake Busey.
Because it just feels like I feel like there's a Jake Busey moment in this movie. This is a movie where this is movie. Dan's bet.
This
This is movie. This is a movie where when I first, I was the victim of the same marketing that this movie was a victim of itself, in that it was marketed as hell yeah, rock and roll, look at these hot people fighting in space.
Yeah.
When it is that, but it is also like the tone of it is, I don't know, like the tone of it is very deliberate, and that was part of its like cult status now, is that like when it came out, it was received in very distinct ways by people, where they either took it at face value or they perhaps appreciated some more subtle elements going on.
Like camp?
Wait, what does this mean?
Is it like
There's
how
a big war against a bunch of bug aliens.
Yes.
Okay.
And the movie's got kind of a vibe of like, there's like a propaganda element to it of like,
Yes.
do your part. Like the famous GIF that you've probably
Yes,
seen
yes.
is I'm doing my
I'm doing my part.
Like a space marine turns her head and says, I'm
Like,
doing
at the
my
camera.
part.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
I
so
think
it's-
I've seen that.
Yeah. It's got a real like, almost like World War II propaganda, but space marines
Yes. And
feel to it.
yes.
Okay.
And like it was, yeah, it's weird because like it was marketed as like I distinctly remember the marketing where it was always just song number 2 by Blur playing over a bunch of bugs getting blown up and hot people shooting space weapons. And so it was just presented as just like, hell yes, space action. You recognize some of these actors because it's the 90s. And that's how it was presented. Just like, teens, go spend your money. But it's also a Verhoeven movie. He's the guy that did Totes Recall and
is it?
RoboCop.
Oh.
And
Total
so there's
Recall.
like, thank you. Ooh, the branding
He does
is-
not produce our podcast.
Yeah, hey,
Unless
But
he
if
wants
wanna-
to.
if
You want to.
become an executive producer level.
absolutely. I mean,
patron,
I'm sure you'll just make us
okay.
watch one of your own movies.
That'd be
but
amazing.
That's fine. And so, like, if you recall, from Total Recall, like, there is sort of, as much as it is just like a stupid sci-fi action movie, there are definitely like subversive elements to the premise that maybe get, depending on who you like, depending on how you watch the movie, like maybe you would argue they get drowned out by like the stupid action elements of it.
Yeah.
I think this movie suffers the same thing, where it's like it is all of the things that people think it is, but it is also like, I don't know. I saw a really good, appropriately, this was like a couple days ago. I saw some really good, I think it was just like some random comedian tweeting about this movie, where it was like, the thing that people lose track of with like Starship Troopers is that, like, yes, it's like there's satirical elements to it, but Verhoeven also thinks this stuff is cool. So like it's hard for some people to like latch on to like maybe the satirical side of like the fact that it's presented as like this in your face war propaganda, but it's like because Verhoeven also thinks that the dumb action stuff is like cool and fun, even though he's at the same time kind of saying like
trying to make like a war is hell movie.
Yeah. But it's still presented as just like, hell yeah, this scene is very cool.
Yeah. I remember really liking this movie because it was a space action movie, but grittier somehow. I don't think they have lasers. I think they're still shooting bullets.
Fair enough.
In space?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they shoot lasers in space, and then when they're on the planet's surface, they shoot bullets.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not all in space.
No, I think
It might be
most
on
of
different
it's
planets.
A ground war.
Yeah.
Oh.
But primarily ground war. We are three heroes. Casper Van Diem, of course.
Of course.
Denise Richards and our surprise guest.
Yes.
They're like high school buds who all enlist to go fight the evil bug menace. And they like are in different spheres of the military. I think Casper Van Diem's like a ground troops. Denise Richards is maybe a space pilot lady.
Sure.
And our third person works in like mind control, secret intelligence.
Whoa.
And so you kind of follow their stories independently of like, here's how the war is structured. And then they like come back together and they're changed by war also, maybe, question mark.
Right.
Where am I going with this?
I
So
don't
yeah,
know.
I think it's like,
Is this movie goofy?
Sort of.
I think it's pretty campy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Campy's maybe a better word
Yeah.
for it. Because
And-
it is still about like a bunch of teens fighting giant bugs.
Yeah.
What movie would you say has a similar vibe to this movie? Because when you're describing it, I'm thinking of what's that one with Red Dawn?
Oh,
Oh, that's dark.
Red Dawn is darker than this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Red Dawn feels
Kids
like it should
die.
be campy, but like it gets real as hell.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's like you could maybe argue that like like you're definitely hitting, like your brain is going in the right direction, but I feel like this movie is sort of like self-aware that it is sort of like Red Dawn with bugs. Maybe
Okay.
whereas Red Dawn was more like some coked up dude wrote a screenplay of like, what if teens saved America from communism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie is like, it's crazy that movie was made and that society embraced it. But
Yeah.
also, here's a movie about giant bugs. It rides a weird line, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Given where we think we are historically in the mid to late 90s,
Yes.
I wonder how much this is like a Gulf War
Ooh, yeah.
allegory.
That's a great,
intentionally or
that is a
unintentionally?
great point.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either.
'Cause I would have been a teen, a young teen, a mid-teen.
Yeah.
We'll say a hot teen though. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, thank you. And was probably not very aware of military actions, but not like
Right.
aware in the sense of like art being satirical about it.
Yeah,
That is
I mean,
bug guns.
I
don't
believe,
know.
as I've stated on this podcast before, like the presidencies before George W. Bush were basically perceived in my brain based off of like sketches on late night comedy.
Yeah.
So like every element of like the way things actually were in reality were only retroactively brought to my attention, and I am now retroactively horrified.
Oh, yeah, no, because I would have been in the late 90s. I was in my first corporate job.
Uh-huh.
Like I'd been out of college for a little while.
So you would have gone on like after you gotten drinks after dinner and then seen Starship Troopers,
Right.
like happy
Got
hour.
loose,
Yeah.
loosened up for
Yeah.
the new troops.
Yeah, I think that's why this would have missed me. I think that just would not have
You
been
just-
a movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
we should also contextualize this was not a well-received film at the time, like critically speaking.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if it made that much money, but it's sort of like gained this like cult status over
Right.
the years.
Yeah, I mean, Denise Richards.
Like a
is-
deep sleeper.
Yes.
Yeah, Denise Richards is not good at acting. Took bets
Oh.
bet. Sorry.
Oh, harsh.
I don't know that I've ever seen her in anything.
She was in the second Pierce Brosnan Bond.
Yes.
It was Christmas Jones.
Very good in that.
Oh boy.
Some other movies.
She's in Filthy Animals.
What?
What's the one with Nev Campbell and some other 90s dude?
Hmm.
Oh,
They have
what
a
is it
three-way.
called? Like Wild
Oh,
Things or
yeah.
something?
Things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in that. She's easy on the eyes, but I don't think acts very well. I think Casper Van Diem is in the same boat.
Is it Diem or Dean?
Diem, I believe.
Whoa.
Like Carpe.
Diem. Like Carpe.
Whoa.
Carpe Van Diem.
I love it. Do you think they wanted to name him that? And they're like, no, that's too obvious.
Was she with Charlie Sheen at the time?
Maybe.
Whoa.
Ooh. I feel like I know her from being on the cover of People magazine with Charlie Sheen.
Sure.
Okay, I've got some great wiki content here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's our third. No.
Sheenster?
You might be surprised and delighted, but spoiler alert, it's not him.
No.
Oh, but you do know who it
I
is?
do know.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
saving this for your experience.
For the joy or perhaps just confusion of seeing this other actor.
Oh, that's so nice.
I hope
movie.
it's like Meryl Streep.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Dame Judi Dench.
Yes.
Ooh, that would also be incredible.
Yeah. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's not him.
It's not.
No.
What else do I want to say about this? I just remember thinking it was awesome. I was probably 16 or something.
Sure.
And like they're just shooting a bunch of guns in space, and I thought it was rad.
Yeah, I don't think I saw this until college because it was just one of those dumb movies where my friends were like, "Oh, you haven't seen Starship Troopers? We should watch Starship Troopers."
Yeah. What? Sorry.
I mean, my because we were college students living in a dorm together.
Yeah.
What do the bugs look like?
Ooh,
Can you describe them?
Great cue.
They're big.
Yeah.
Well, they come in different
Aren't
sizes.
they're like different kinds
There's
of
one
bugs.
with a huge brain.
Yeah.
Most of them are kind of.
Like they're like big.
You can see the brain, or it just has a big head?
It's like there's a
It's just like
pulsating
a-
one
Ew.
Yeah.
that really like gets shot a lot and maybe explodes, and there's a lot of goo. There's a lot of goo in this movie.
Yeah, it's sort of like Gremlins in that there's just a lot of goo.
Okay.
They're kind of they got like spiky hands.
Yeah.
And they chitter around. It's maybe like a Riddick style.
Are they
Sure.
scary? Or do they look like cartoony, or do they look like
No, they're
like
pretty like
xenomorph kind of
Yeah,
style?
they're more
they're
xenomorph.
Okay, so
xenomorph.
they're scary.
Yeah.
But they're scary in that, yeah, like the design is spooky, but usually it's like they're so brightly lit and just flying around doing crazy shit to these hot teens that you're just kind of like, it's more just bananas
Yeah.
than
Okay.
scary.
They're kind of
Okay.
like the Zerg from StarCraft,
Okay.
if that's helpful.
Nope.
Nope.
I was thinking of Zurg. Isn't that the name of the character, the bad guy for Buzz Lightyear?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
The same?
Emperor Zurg. I think.
I think I got StarCraft right.
Tweet at us. That's also right. What you said is also right.
Okay, good. Oof. But also clean it up, Blizzard, unless you already have.
They haven't.
They haven't?
I
Come
mean,
on.
we'll talk about it off the podcast.
Does it pass the Bechdel Wallace?
Ooh,
no.
great question.
No? Denise Richards doesn't talk to any other women?
I'm going to say no.
Are the bugs women? Do we know?
I mean, there are
Oh,
some.
there's probably like a queen.
There are
Probably
some
a
bugs
queen.
that I believe are
But I think she's up in
directly
space.
gendered. I believe some of the bugs are directly gendered. Yes.
Best bet. They have to kill the queen
Ooh,
in
yeah.
order to win the war.
Great
Kill the
bet.
Queen, win the war.
Patriarchy.
I'm going to be bold and say it does pass because I want to keep it spicy.
That's very
But I
specific.
agree that it's very unlikely.
What's your most probable scenario for a pass?
Ooh. Are you asking me directly or the
And
table?
I'm asking the table.
I have a probable scenario for
Please.
a fail,
For
which is
fail?
going to be that Denise Richards will address a woman directly and will either not get a response or that woman is not named.
Okay, we'll get like a near miss.
Yeah.
It'll get like just like a Hail Mary pass that just nobody catches.
I think that's a solid bet because this is a integrated military. So like there will definitely be, I assume there will be other not men on screen, but yeah,
Right.
whether they actually communicate directly.
I bet that it doesn't pass, and the near miss is that she kills like a female bug
Okay.
and then just says bitch.
But the bug can't respond.
the bug's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I will take the hot bet that they do pass, and I'm gonna say it's because some sort of like they're in like, I don't know, class. They're in school, right?
Sure,
and
yeah.
like Professor Space Gonagle or whatever is just like, ooh, oh, Denise Richards, get yourself to space class, and she's like, oh, okay, I will, Mrs. Space Gonagle or whatever, and then Casper Van Diem is like, hey, let's kiss, and then their conversation is cut off because a man wants something.
So
Yeah,
kiss.
probably what she'll say is, "Oh, I'll get to class as soon as I kiss this boy who I'm
Mhm.
obsessed with."
Yep.
That's about the
a really good Denise Richards.
Yeah,
impression.
that's
Thank
great.
you.
I
And
take it
don't
all back.
under-
She is a good.
Thank you.
Based on R.
Listen, Anne Hathaway already hates us, okay? We cannot just keep adding.
Yeah, but I mean, these are like two different levels of.
Oh, that's what they would have said about John Travolta at one point,
I'm
but he
just
came back in a big
saying.
way.
I know, but I'm just
Have
saying,
you
like,
seen Denise Richards as the John Travolta of?
She could be.
she could be Santa Claus in a credit card commercial.
Is there anything more like disconcerting than that ad?
It is so weird.
It
I
looks
hate the podcast.
weird.
See this.
Oh, look it
it's-
up.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
It's
'Cause
creepy.
there's like layers to it, right? 'Cause,
Mhm.
okay. True Totes heads will know that Samuel Jackson has been advertising with a credit card company for years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided, what if we reunite him and his Pulp Fiction co-star John Travolta on one of our ads? But rather than just having him play John Travolta, Sam Jackson is on a Zoom call with Santa Claus played by John Travolta.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And it's insane because it takes you a second because you're like, is that John Travolta?
Yep.
And then like once your brain clicks on it, you're just like, are they going to acknowledge it at all? No, they're not.
Via t-shirt they do.
They do acknowledge it via t-shirt.
Yep.
Wow.
Because Sam L. Jackson is wearing a t-shirt that references Pulp
It's
Fiction in a
bananas.
very
It's like a Royale with cheese or
quiet
something?
way. It's like the fixins of a burger, and it has something at the bottom that like just triggers enough of a memory
Okay.
without being copyrightable
Yeah.
or infringible.
Yeah.
But there is actually a funny moment in is
I'm
which I
listening.
have seen many
Oh,
times.
this is a
course.
Chicago Fire.
As you know, I'm obsessed with Chicago Fire. Is that when John Travolta as Santa is looking at his laptop, the number of items in his cart is something like 1,800,000,000,
It's pretty good.
whatever.
pretty
It's
good.
very funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
But there are layers to it because once your brain is like, is that John Travolta? It is. Then you're like processing how he's chosen to play the character of Santa Claus.
And then you're trying to process like Pulp Fiction came out decades ago.
yes.
Yeah, who's
Like,
this ad for?
who
Well,
is
now
it
we've
for?
been talking about it. It's because now we gave them
Check
free
out
advertising.
which-
Check
Never-
out a
never
credit
said.
card that we will never mention on this
No.
show.
Because they're bad.
Well, they're definitely bad, but also give us money.
Yeah,
Big bank bad. We'll advertise for a bad bank.
for some
bad.
of that bad money. Am
Give
I
us some of
right?
that bad money. Hey, you can't live in a capitalist society without compromising yourself in some way.
That's right.
I do want to say real quick about this ad.
Yes. Again, this episode is about the movie Starship Troopers.
His mustache beard is weird.
It
I
is.
agree.
Absolutely.
Because, again, that's another part of it. I feel like where once you realize it's John Travolta, you're like, is that his beard? He's old enough where, like, he could have a white beard. Sure.
That never occurred to me, but I do think they have style. I have started to watch ads in a new way, and I think there are certain things that people do
Mhm.
that are visually jarring, and they're made to be that way so that you will look.
Okay.
And I've got a whole thing about an advertiser who advertises with a lot of red,
Okay.
and there's a moment where an actor has to lean back in his chair, but clearly they filmed one angle one way, so he has to like robotically pull his arm back, and it is absolutely hilarious. It's the
Amazing.
most unnatural movement. You're welcome. I'll describe it more on
Okay.
Discord.
Well,
Absolutely.
I will watch this ad during the break.
Great.
We'll be back with the second half of our show, which
Doesn't
is
pass
all
the
about
Bechdel wall. Let's test this ad.
No.
But in the meantime, Molly, how should we rate this movie,
Ooh, great
Starship
question.
Troopers? Will it be a Starship Pooper or a
Oh!
Starship Trooper?
Really?
think you're just gonna say trooper? You're not gonna give a fun-
I
Starship?
think it's going to be a scale of
Hooper.
1 to 5. Denise Richards is underrated.
Okay. Is
How we
that...
feel in the second half about this race.
Is this like a blog post or like a YouTube comment? Like,
It is a TikTok that is about to go viral.
okay.
And is
Okay.
it like how many we do in the series? How many TikToks we do?
Like how much we have to say about this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's a good point.
Uh-huh.
It is 1 to 5 number of viral TikToks extolling the underrated talents of Denise Richards.
Uh-huh.
These are, by the way, definitely made by current teens
Okay.
who have rediscovered her.
Okay.
Okay, so it's authentic and
Cool.
cool,
Yep.
as described by me,
It's
a
very
35-year-old.
chuggy. Is that good or bad?
I don't know. I've never heard chuggy.
Tweet at us, TikTokers.
Is
Yeah.
chuggy a word now?
Yes,
Yes.
maybe. But I can't remember if it's a word or if it's a word that Z people created just to make fun of us because we'd adopt it.
I think so.
I appreciate
yeah.
that.
Me
If
too.
that's true,
Hey,
good job,
Z
teens.
people, I also have forgotten what society decided to call you
Z
other than the letter
people?
Z.
Is this Zoomers?
I don't know. Yes, maybe. But now I feel like that's been sullied by the fact that we all use the damn video chat. Anyway, please keep trolling us.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
hilarious.
Oh,
and
it's good.
It's great.
Keep your joy alive.
Yes.
I've been thinking a lot about how this planet is doomed recently. And
Yeah,
I've
great.
kind of
I love it.
given
Yes.
up
Okay,
on
here we go. Let's
carried.
keep the
Oh my
first half going another
gosh.
20 minutes because now I am locked in.
And the only thing that gives me hope is like maybe there's young people with more energy, time, and passion than me, and they can do something.
Yeah.
So I did my best, and we're still in a shithole.
Yeah. I think what they have that we didn't have is like they had so much more access to the world early on where like the scales fell off so early where they could be like, these people are full of shit.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with us, we had to get like, we had that a little bit. Like there was always that, there's that level of rebellion for every generation of when you're young. It's like, these people are full of shit. But like, I feel like it took us to actually enter society fully to realize like, oh, we got completely fucked. Whereas the Zoomers, they have this media landscape where they can just turn on their device and be like, oh, everything's crazy. And I already know this and I'm 12.
Yeah.
So they can sort of like start counteracting that way earlier.
Well, and so longtime listeners already know this. So canonically, we are all 35.
Yeah.
Of course.
But in reality, I am a
35.
35 plus, let's just say 12.
Sure.
So I am a Gen Xer. And
35-year-old Gen Xer.
Yeah,
That checks
35-year-old
out.
Gen
Yeah.
Xer. And I just, it brings me joy, like, because I still take so much joy out of making fun of boomers.
Yeah.
And it just made me so happy when other people started making fun of boomers. And then when people, I feel like Generation X is like the Eeyore generation. And so when people make fun of Gen X, we're all just like, oh, thanks for noticing me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like our expectations are so beaten down that it's made us in some ways impervious and in delight with others who make fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's just a different version, but that's interesting of when it hits.
Right.
Because I felt like for Gen X, it hit pretty hard, pretty early.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, just low expectations generation,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. Dan, how many Denise Richards is underrated TikToks do you want to give this movie Starship Troopers?
Oh boy. Okay. As I've said, this movie has had an interesting journey as a film in the way
Yeah.
it's been received by our culture, and I think also by me.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I first watched it, I'm just like, okay, it's another dumb movie that I watched with my college friends, and I didn't really appreciate it until I got more retroactively horrified by our entire society and just the giant churning machine that is the military industrial complex and our country in general, USA number 5.
Yep.
And so in retrospect, I'm like, oh, this movie rules, but not in a way that maybe me just enjoying hot people shooting bugs in a college student rules. But I also don't know if it succeeds quite at the level that people give it credit for in towing that line. And so I will take, I was going to say cowardly, but this movie will rule at least in some form or another. So I will say 4 Denise
Wow.
Richards is underrated
TikToks.
viral TikToks.
Great.
Which, if I keep this rating at the end, I will learn how to use TikTok and create these TikToks for
Wow.
our patrons. So get on patreon.com/Totes
Wow.
Recall.
Wow, this is huge. All right. Beth.
Yes. There's no way I'm going to like this movie. One.
I think that's probably
Strong
true.
bet. I love it. I love it.
It's probably accurate. Me, I think this movie rules, but I feel like I will see the problems even in like a campy movie that's like 20 years old or whatever. So I'm also going to give it a cautious this rules 4.
I'm going to
Molly,
say
you're next.
Spaceball Rules, Super Troopers, Drools.
Different movie.
Different
Whoa.
movie. This is Starship Troopers.
Apologies to the Broken Lizard crew.
Hey, local reference.
Kind
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give it two.
Hey,
Two
that
Denise
seems
Richards
high.
underrated TikToks. With one because I'm in a similar boat to Beth. There's really nothing about this that sounds like it's going to appeal to me.
Yeah.
But brought up a point for Denise Richards.
Oh.
Just because I
You dogged her
I dogged
early
her.
on.
I
Yeah.
also dogged Casper Van Dien.
Well, I don't remember that.
We'll see if this surprise mystery co-star bumps up the ratings for everybody.
No, I can't wait to find out who this is.
And with that, we're going to press pause, go watch the movie, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. My name is Beth, the one-fourth host of this podcast that you're listening to currently. This is the middle of the podcast between when we have seen the movie and when we haven't seen the movie switched around. I wanted to let you know, and we wanted to let you know, about something called Patreon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Patreon what?
Patreon.com.
love it.
If you head there right now, patreon.com/totesrecall, you can become a patron of our podcast, which means that you can support our podcast and its production with your money.
Yeah.
In return,
Ooh.
you can get access to our Discord. You can get bonus content. You can get little prizes and big prizes like a hat.
Yes.
Or a really cool glass to drink milk out of.
Yes.
Or no one has yet done this, but it is still available that you can
Oh, yes.
suggest a fruit
Yep.
for Dan and I to eat competitively.
Yes.
In the competition of our choosing.
There are 6 available fruits slots.
Yes.
Fruit slots.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
pick the fruit.
You pick the fruit. We pick the.
the way that we will compete
Yep.
with that fruit.
Yeah.
And I think we'll video it.
We'll definitely create
We
incredible
should just do
content. from it,
audio.
though.
It's the worst.
Oh God, the people who are like me who hate all things ASMR will just cringe their way through it as Dan and I just dramatically
Do something.
masticate fruit fiber.
But for as little as $1 a month.
Yes.
Yeah, you can help us make this podcast and support our show. And right now, I'd like to thank 2 of our patrons.
Wow.
Is this a seeing your name in lights in audio form?
It is,
Which is one of the-
one of the rewards
Yes.
tiers,
Either one. Reward tiers.
reward tiers.
Yeah.
We would like to shout out Elaine and Tom Gibbs. And Tom. Oh, that was good.
Wow.
Yeah, great
We're getting
names.
good at this.
Definitely not related. They're not my parents.
Oh, okay. That's what a coincidence.
Isn't
What a
that so
crazy coincidence.
crazy that
Sound
they
like
someone with the
parents.
same last name
Would be so
would
supportive.
be super supportive
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
We thank them
We do.
for their patronage.
Absolutely.
And that's it, since they're not your parents. If
Yeah.
they were your parents, I would thank them for raising such a good child.
Just an incredible citizen of the
Who's
world.
now a woman and not a child anymore.
What's happening?
This is getting. Oh no! Oh no! Bring us back, Beth. Bring us
Pivotal.
back.
Parenting is hard.
Land the plane.
That's
Land this plane.
If you would like a shout out that's equally as creepy, head to patreon.com/totesrecall. And now back to the show.
Woo.
And we're back. We just watched 2 hours and 9 minutes of Starship Troopers.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
That's your little summary.
Sorry, we just watched 2 hours and 9 minutes of bugs and bug goo,
Yep.
some nudity,
Yep.
a lot of fascism.
Bug holes.
There you go.
And bug holes.
Bug holes.
Oh,
Well, before we dive into the bug holes,
Yeah. Of our
Oh,
podcast.
there is a segment that we do on this podcast.
Okay.
What?
has received numerous awards. Here we are at the top of the year.
I would like to know more.
Newly eligible for the 2022 Howard Awards.
Of course.
Which
We get so close every year. I think this is the one we can take it.
and of course that segment is 60-second summary.
Oh, I wasn't sure if I was going to go into song or not.
In which one of us summarizes the movie we just watched, Starship Troopers,
Correct.
in 60 seconds. I, in the traditional manner, volunteer.
Great.
And I think it's actually been a little while.
I think so. And, we might as well ring in the new year, unless anyone objects.
Ding, ding,
With
ding.
Oh,
the
no.
traditional
I
traditional
never want to do
time.
it ever again.
ding, 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 ding. Dan, are you ready?
Yes, I believe because I respect Molly and am kind to her now, I think she reminded me that I had to now start with "We Open On" because
Yes.
of I did too good a job last time.
Yep,
Okay.
it's
So
true.
I will respect that past request from Molly.
Ready and go.
I don't remember what we open on though. There's teens in school, right? Teens are in school. They're talking about citizenship. Casper Van Dien's there. He's sending kissy tablet gifs to Denise Richards, and maybe Carl's there too. Neil Patrick Harris. They all get their test scores. Denise Richards is good at school. Johnny Rico is bad at school. They all independently decide to go to war.
30 seconds.
To war school. Shit. Johnny Rico's stupid, so he goes to the infantry. Denise Richards smart. She goes, flies a ship. Neil Patrick Harris super smart. He's in intelligence. There's a lot of bug war. Mostly we follow Casper Van Dien and Denise Richards. They kill a lot of bugs.
10 seconds.
Oh my God. In the end, there's a big brain bug that they capture, and Neil Patrick Harris reads its brain, and then they win the bug war.
Time.
Wow.
Wow.
So good. That's what we look for.
We open on is
It's like the killer.
it kills you. You were like 30 seconds into describing exactly 30 seconds into the movie.
Yeah, like you were locked into school, which is
Yep.
just like the preamble to establish who these people are.
Yeah.
I forgot they even went to school.
Well, that's what we
A
open
lot
on.
of bug
Like,
war. They actually, if I may fill in a little bit, they do actually open on
Football?
them getting destroyed by bugs, and then there's a
Yeah,
1 year
you're right.
earlier
Then we
flashback.
jump back.
Just
Shit.
1 year earlier. They were
Yeah.
all just bright-eyed
Yep.
youngsters with a bright future in front of them.
Well, some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Rico seemed like he was probably just gonna.
He is kind of a dummy.
He was gonna money his way into
But he's
Harvard.
so good at space football.
Oh, so good at space football.
I should add, if I can add one aspect to my summary. I know it's
I'll allow
flawless, but
Sure.
one
Should we
aspect.
time it?
No, please don't. There's some rotating love
Sort of.
quadrilaterals that are happening between the high school kids, Johnny Rico and Denise Richards. Carmen Ibanez. Ibanez.
I don't know. Maybe
It's
it
the
was
future.
Ibanez, but even in the future, the fonts couldn't do the little mark over the end.
They're high school BFFs, but then they break up, and some other guy moves in on Denise Richards
Xander.
and the girl who was hot for Casper
Dizzy.
Van Diem, Dizzy,
Dizzy.
in high school moves in on him, and they couple up, but then half of those people die,
Right.
so maybe they're back together in the end.
Unclear. I don't think so, though, because she's captaining her own spaceship.
That's true.
And
Maybe
he's
they-
being a roughneck.
That's true. Maybe they meet a little R&R
Sure.
mission on the side.
War bang.
Warbang.
Wow.
So it's an important part of the movie.
Is
And-
it?
Yeah. I think the
That's
rotating
like the
romances
main
are-
part of the movie.
But it's
to
also
me.
like so much of it. I mean, we talked about this while we were watching it. Like so much of it is just like Dizzy being like way too into Rico for no reason, and Rico just being like, "Ugh, I'm too busy with war."
Yeah, Rico kind
Or-
of sucks.
Right?
yeah, he sucks.
He's Casper Van Dien, who I misspelled his name.
It is an N.
It's an N at the end. Casper Van
Wow.
Huh.
Sees the spelling.
Dien. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Nailed it.
Thank you. I didn't mean that to sound so cutting. I thought it would
It
just
was
be
incredible.
silly.
It was
No,
worth it.
Okay.
Casper's
Got it.
You just
destroyed.
destroyed Dan. Like he is crying. Listeners, he's crying.
I cried.
There's Kleenex over here, Dan, if you
Thank
need.
you. Thank you very much. But I'm so annoyed by how much he like doesn't want to have fun ever.
Yeah.
Not even like he should be getting down with Dizzy. Like he's not even nice to her. Like they're
weird.
classmates and like space football teammates.
Yes.
And like in theory, he even says like, can't we just be friends?
Right.
When she's like really hitting on him hard.
Yeah.
But then he is a bad friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
He's a bad friend. And at one point he says, "Why are you laughing?" And you realize at that moment that you have never seen him laugh or appreciate a joke or really smile or joke with anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just a serious wet blanket.
He sucks, which
He's
is like
G.I. Joe. Like
Yeah.
he's a doll. He doesn't make any emotional expressions at all.
except for yelling.
Well,
Yeah.
G.I. Joe can yell.
Saddle up. That is
Yeah.
his catchphrase.
Yeah. And then he steals all the rest of his lines from his teacher / boss dad, Michael Ironsides, who, as always, rules.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got some heavy overlap in crusty old characters in other Paul Verhoeven movies.
We
both
do.
Dean Norris and Michael Ironsides are in this and Total Recall.
Yes.
And they both rule in
Yes.
both these movies.
Also in this movie is Rue McClanahan.
Oh, that was amazing. That came out of nowhere.
It was incredible.
She's like a blind
biology
teacher.
Yeah. And like, why?
I get the impression she was blinded by bugs. She seems like a crusty
Whoa.
ex-military.
Oh, but they
also,
weren't like
right?
into it with the bugs yet, right? No, my interpretation
I think
was that Ironside was the representation of the masculine, let's go to war and be citizens.
yes.
And she was a manifestation of, you are underestimating the bugs.
Yes.
Why don't we be more curious than authoritarian?
Yes.
Yeah.
They had bugs though. So there was some bug engagement.
Because they keep shooting those bug meteors at the planet.
Right. And there was like a throwaway line that's probably way more important than anyone who was watching this movie in the 90s gave it credit for. It was like, oh, some say it's because the humans encroached upon their territory.
Right.
And that's why they retaliated. And
But then Casper Van Dien gets in there and says,
just kill
"Kill them all."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, get him.
Right?
But also,
Yikes.
You know, I'm almost sorry. I did do a little bit of online looking around.
Okay.
online looking around.
Online
Yes.
looking
Like
around.
like a search.
Like a search
Like I did do a search.
on some kind of
Sort of generally online?
Or like
a
you use like a
specific
particular
location?
I mean, I looked in a couple places, but the main one was Wikipedia.
She decided to look up some facts. Now she's searching for interesting information to share with us.
Wow, what a wonderful pre-recorded
I mean,
segment.
I don't want to
section.
like a little peek behind the curtain, but the three of us worked really hard on that over Christmas break.
Like literally, I was up all night last night reworking the lyrics
And
and,
then the new mix is
Arrangements.
incredible.
yeah, and really that harmony, we nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
It's really good.
Well, we rented out the booth for 24 hours. The
Yep.
recording studio where Nirvana recorded.
Yep.
Yep.
That's in Madison.
Oh, by the way, the podcast is thousands of dollars in the hole.
Patrons we could really use some help. I honestly, my mind has gone completely blank.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. I know that. Okay, no. Okay, so when I was watching this movie, I just felt like my brain was melting
Yes.
because I could not understand if it was like a teen romance, a 1950s thing, or a war movie, or just a sci-fi movie.
Right.
And it just looked all gummed together.
Yep.
And it was just blowing my mind because every new scene, it was like a different movie personality.
Yeah.
We've got something for everybody.
And, well, yeah,
Oh,
but not
Rob.
at the same time. And it was so hard. But then when I looked up on Wikipedia, it all became much clearer. Because I was also like, how is like high school football still a trope? And like you still have the quarterback, but now this ball is just silver and you're wearing different outfits.
Yeah,
Like,
it
how
was
are we
space
still
football.
in this
And
like?
they do a lot of flips.
Like a
They
lot
do.
of
But you know what I'm
a
saying?
weird
Like-
amount of flips.
Because I already feel like it has not been necessarily true for people that the two peak people at their high school are the quarterback and the head cheerleader, right? I mean, that certainly wasn't true to my experience. but I just felt like it's just been passed down from generation to generation to generation, and we just have to live with this trope. And so I thought this was a manifestation of that burden, but it turns out it has nothing to do with that. It's based on a novel of the same name written in 1959.
Great.
And the novel is completely like a hard right, like kind of fascist novel.
Whoa.
Yeah. And apparently the screenwriter was like really obsessed with it growing up.
Okay.
And got the director, what's the director's name?
Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, Paul Verhoeven interested, but Paul Verhoeven said this about the book. I stopped after 2 chapters because it was so boring. It was really quite a bad book. I asked Egg Nurimer to tell me the story because I just couldn't read the thing. It's a very right-wing book. And apparently it is exactly like that. And so what he set out to do, because he's of, I think, Germanic Swedish descent.
That sounds right.
Was to portray a fully fascist society. So you get all of the like Nazi imagery in the Federation.
Yeah,
It gets just thicker as the movie goes on. By the time
sure.
it's over, Neil Patrick Harris just looks like he's straight from the SS.
Yes.
It just layered that on. And he just tried to say, he's like, if I tried to make a movie that just said fascists were bad, no one would watch or listen. But by making the fascists beautiful and perfect, and all they can do with that is kill bugs, I thought that might send the message better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it like started to make sense, because like why you would name a main character Johnny who plays football does not make sense in a 1990s context, right?
Yeah.
Not even 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was really hard to get over that. What was also fascinating to me is that when we're talking about this love, not even triangle, love rhubarb. No, what was it?
Love rhubarb. Yep.
Rhombus.
That's right.
Love rhombus.
Nope, rhubarb.
Nope. Rhubarb.
Rhubarb.
Rhubarb is canon. That film audiences felt it was immoral because it was supposed to be pretty clear that Denise Richards' character was in love with 2 different men.
Yeah.
Oh.
The audience felt like it was completely immoral, and they couldn't handle that, test audiences. So they changed it up. So they never showed her like specifically being in love with both of the men at the same time. And they also felt like it was wrong of her to break up with him for her ambition.
Weird.
Which is like the most modern idea in that whole heap of 1959 garbage.
Yeah.
So I just don't know what to do with 1990s America.
But they kept that in. Like, she clearly dumps him for
her.
They do, but they cut out a different scene where they get back together. Because it's immoral of her to get back together with him.
What?
Yeah, they
She's a
took like,
flip-flopper, then.
I don't remember all the things because I mean I read it like 20 minutes ago.
Sure.
But
A lifetime ago. I get it.
but you know what I'm saying? Like they changed some parts of the movie and they didn't change others
Yeah.
based on that feedback. But that is like the most like puritanical, just bananas.
Are we supposed to then, like, at the same time feel good and proud of Johnny Rico for rebuffing this, like, temptress and Dizzy who's always trying to get with him because he's pure and only has eyes for the...
But then war
Sounds
makes
cool.
him bad or
Yeah.
something? War is hell because it makes you have sex with other people?
Yeah. I did clock that, like, he doesn't get with Dizzy until he's, like, achieved a higher rank.
Well, and he's and his like hero mentor tells him to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's like his hero basically tells him to pull his head out of his ass and just like get whatever pleasure he can out of life because they're on planet P
Well,
or
but
whatever.
yeah, to me that was the point of that, was that he doesn't have his own emotion until like somebody tells him to,
Yeah.
until he's ordered
'Cause he's
to.
the perfect soldier boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because nobody deprogrammed him off his original girlfriend.
Yeah. And he has no, like, I mean, his parents are killed by bugs at the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie and, like, has no emotional response to that. He doesn't really seem I don't know. Like, everything about him is so...
Well, it's worse than having no
One-dimensional.
emotion. He just immediately goes into warfare mode, right?
Yes.
So it's like the height of toxic masculinity of like, I'm not going to feel this. I'm just going to go shoot a bunch of bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess like that was sort of like there was like the seeds for that were kind of planted because like the one part of their school that we saw with great detail was like this class that's like literally like propaganda the class.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, apparently that must have been like citizenship or something, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it was called like citizenship 101, and then
There's
it's
a
like
lot of like Greek statues behind them.
yeah,
so they were
and
learning
it's
about
like
civics.
literally like let's get this like I don't know, I assume like space equivalent of Purple Heart
Right.
monster from the military to teach this like civics class.
And aspects of it were shot exactly like Birth of a Nation. And they also used like a lot of war propaganda stuff. So the genius of it is making the enemy bugs, and then you can sort of examine the humanity on the other side of the war machine. I don't know. I felt for the bug at the end. Did y'all feel for that poor sad
Yes.
bug?
That was the point.
I think
Right.
I think you're supposed to.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, because like at that
You
point,
start to lose your compass watching this movie.
Yeah.
that was also the point.
Because Neil
Good
Patrick
art.
Harris is like, it's feeling afraid.
And everyone's like,
cheers.
all right. And
Everyone's
then
like,
it's just like, here's a
yeah.
montage of scientists just like shoving
Yeah.
probes into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was way more, I don't know if is satirical the word I'm looking for,
Probably.
than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, they had a lot of stuff in there that I was, I mean, they had many moments where somebody's head just gets blown off
Yes.
or like whatever, and it's like made to be kind of funny, but like to me, I'm like, or I think it also has this thing of like, look at how horrible this thing
Right.
is, and they seem okay with it. Like it's super gory
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I think it had more to it than I expected.
Yeah, for sure it did. And it doesn't help you at all. Like, it does not, like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm used to, like, some kind of Thick Williams soundtrack or somebody telling me how to feel.
And there
Yeah,
kind of
no.
was a Thick Williams soundtrack, but it was like very
But
clearly
it was
deliberately
contrary
like
to
this-
my own
yeah.
internal compass. Like, the friction between the movie compass and my compass
Right.
was very strong. And I think at first I felt that through the expression of anger at how it couldn't be like one genre
Yeah.
or like one decade or like what is happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think part of that, I think it's a really natural reaction is to have like anger and frustration when something just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's especially at the end, the feeling that I had was like it's supposed to, be, it's kind of like any other action movie you'd see where you're like, yeah, they did it.
Right.
But they start with that, it's feeling afraid.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, that's not necessarily a good thing. And so everything that comes after that, you're like, oh, wait, they're not good guys.
Right.
Like, this is horrible. They're like jabbing things into it and
Yeah.
Yeah, and
testing
I'm
it.
with you.
And
Yeah.
it was interesting that like how I think Molly, you mentioned this already, like how like their costumes got like more, I mean, speaking of Thick Williams, like
Yeah.
as the movie
Yeah.
went on, like they just got like closer and closer to like recognizably like homages to Nazi Germany
Yeah.
uniforms, to the point where like literally at the end Neil Patrick Harris comes out of the crowd as like basically like psychic Gestapo man
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
the full black, like floor length
and the like
leather
8
duster.
foot high cap
Yeah,
with like a
lot of eagles everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if I had seen this in the theater, I would have stood up at the end and said, did anybody understand what we just saw?
yeah.
Like, what year is this from?
I think a lot of people had that reaction.
Yep.
Like I feel like it was very, I mean, I think I mentioned that in the first half. Like I think it was received not all that great at the time.
No.
Because I think it was a lot of it. A lot of people were just like, what the fuck?
Apparently it cost about $102 million to make, and it grossed worldwide in the end. They said 12. I don't know. Anyway, it grossed like $10 million more than
Yeah.
it cost.
Right.
But that was worldwide. So the
Success.
gross in the U.S. was like half.
Right.
Wow.
Oh, it's so funny because like I do remember when like it was marketed as just like another like sci-fi, just like woo, like all they would ever show in the commercials was like the hot people going like and like bugs jumping out of the ground and shit. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh hell yeah, it's a crazy bug movie. And like it's funny because you do have to wonder if like even the studio didn't know what to do with it at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about it because I like as a movie I didn't like it,
Yeah.
but I
Spoiler
also
alert.
but I also like it did some things that I'm like I'm gonna be thinking about that for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I mean, it walked a line, and I think that the argument is like whether it succeeded in doing so.
I definitely think that lots of people would have watched that movie and not understood any of that like undertone that they're, because it was not like clear that they were being cutting.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think it's helped by our two lead
No.
actors' ability to convey subtlety and emotion.
What are you saying?
Well,
Wait.
I very unkindly said Denise Richards is not a very good actor, and I don't think Casper Van Dien is either. And Molly
Jumped on your throat,
jumped up my throat, said I was wrong,
shot you in the nerve stem.
slapped me in the face a couple times,
Yep.
and stood up for Denise Richards. But then maybe 40 minutes into the movie, I did hear Molly go, "Oh, she's not very good."
But she said it very quietly.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah,
muttered.
not on podcast, so
That's true. It's not canon.
yeah.
That's true.
But not, just neither of them are. They're both very pretty.
But they're not.
But is that
Is
the
that the
point?
point? Right,
I think that's the
exactly, yeah,
point.
right.
Like I
They're supposed to be empty
am
vessels.
starting to
Yeah.
think that that the casting was completely on purpose.
Right.
And the direction, right?
Yeah.
Because like not all of the characters. Well, the direction was also just like. Well, I don't know.
Right.
The actors' portrayals were all over the place, right?
Yes.
We had our favorite character. I don't even know what her name was.
I don't know. She was
Oh,
like
yeah.
a cartoon
She was
woman.
like every line delivery was so emphatic.
Expressive.
And I think Lyndon, you were like, she's the only one who knows what movie she's in.
No, that was Best Boyfriend.
Okay, yes.
Best Beyond Boyfriend.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Best Boyfriend Beyond.
Beyond.
Please.
Yeah, so it was just like, yeah. So in some ways you're like, okay, she's got it. But then you have these two very wooden characters, not unlike a certain Star Wars film I could mention.
Wow. Shots fired.
Yeah.
At one of the Star Warses. You decide which one.
Yeah, you
11
decide.
Star Wars movies.
Yeah. And then, but then you had so much depth, and then you had one of the Buseys.
Oh,
I
hell
didn't
yeah.
even understand what was happening.
We need to talk about Jake Busey
Let's
for
get into
another
it.
2 hours.
So settle up.
Okay, known guy who shows up in movies sometimes.
Yes.
And usually for just like one purpose, Jake Busey.
Jake Busey lasts the whole movie.
We were literally, the minute he appeared, like, oh, he's done for.
Yeah.
And most people don't. Like Denise Richards, Casper Van Dien, and Neil Patrick Harris all make it. Our
Well, they
three-
did make a vow to stick together
They did. Let's
forever.
make a vow.
Oh,
We'll be
that's
friends
right.
forever.
Yeah.
What did she say? Like, literally they
Hey, guys,
graduated? Or
let's
something? No,
make
it
a
wasn't even
vow.
graduation. They just like looked at their test scores, right?
Yeah.
And she was just like, yeah, so cheerful.
Also, at that point, it's like not established that Neil Patrick Harris is like their friend. group.
No.
Like all we see is he come in like bullies the shit
Yes.
out of Johnny Rico by making his terrible math score huge on
Bigger,
the screen. And we're supposed to be like, oh, best friends.
They're bros.
But
Yeah.
even Busey's like introduction is very toxic masculine.
Yeah, because
Where
he
he's like,
starts out as
yeah,
just like
he cuts in
in
line,
cuts in line.
and they have a thing. It's like, you're mean, I'm gonna like you, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. And
You're
then
tough.
he becomes
I
squad
don't know.
commander, but sucks at it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like we feel for him, but we watch people in the unit. You know, we've got like many war movies. We've
Yeah.
got a core squad with different personalities, and we see them die one by one.
Yes.
But you expect Jake Busey to go down early,
Early.
but he does. He's the one I think that makes it right
Yeah.
of our like known secondary
Yes.
characters. He's the only
He's
one.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Amazing. Like,
I couldn't believe it.
no, I kept waiting. Like, we were
That-
like 5 minutes left, and I'm like,
Yeah.
come on.
That last scene, he and another secondary character join what's his face? Kendall in the
Johnny Rico.
in the bug hole.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here it is.
Yeah, 'cause it was
He's
like, and
about
it was
to
like
get
spoon-fed to
Yes.
us. Like, I need 2 volunteers. Like, okay, the remaining 2 characters we recognize
Yes.
are also coming.
and then he leaves that bug hole unscathed. So confusing.
Cannot handle it.
I just remembered my favorite Jake Busey moment. I mean, he was all over this movie, as we discussed, more than we
Yeah.
ever imagined. But there's a point when they're on Planet P
Yep.
Yeah.
where they're pretty sure Denise Richards has just been killed by bugs.
Yes.
And he, like, suddenly, I mean, maybe there's like what Molly's talking about, where it's like so many different movies smashed together. Suddenly, it's like he's in just like a goofy rom-com.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of like looks at Rico just like, ooh, sorry.
Yeah.
Kind of like grimaces almost.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
it gives more like an
"Ugh."
awkward.
Yeah.
Like it almost, you expect him to look at the camera and just be like, ooh.
I'm starting to think that was on purpose.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was trying to make like, look, death is
Yeah.
nothing. It's
I don't know.
light.
It's,
I believe this director did everything totally intentionally.
yes.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm back on Denise Richards'
Okay.
fan base because I think she acted as directed. I think he basically told her, act like a very happy 17-year-old until
Yeah.
the bad thing happens.
Right.
And then stop smiling.
Yeah,
She did stop smiling.
She did stop
it's
smiling.
true.
And she's got $1 million smile.
And I'm sure
She
she
does.
was like, hey guys, let's make a vow. And the director was like, okay, thank you. I think it was a really great read, but I need you to read it more like a fourth grader who's suggesting cookies. Okay, let's take it again. Hey guys, let's make a vow.
Great.
Yeah.
It's very cash.
Yeah.
There was
I want to say one more thing about Jake
Yeah.
Busey
Please.
before we get too far away.
Please, we've got another hour and 45 minutes.
We see that he is a skilled violin player, fiddle
Yes.
player.
Oh my
maybe is
God.
more
Yes.
Yeah,
accurate.
when they're in the bunks of boot camp or whatever,
Yeah.
he's just the guy who's, he brought an instrument from home, whatever.
Yeah.
fiddle he plays. Okay, I mean a little weird
Whatever.
that he's got a fiddle and he
Yep.
brought it, but okay. But now that's just set up for the real payoff, which is after a mission, Michael Ironside's like, I expect the best and I give the best. So here's beer,
Yeah.
a keg of beer, and here's entertainment. And he opens it up and it's just sports balls,
Space football, like 3 silver space footballs.
like a soccer ball, and then like a yellow plastic space fiddle. And that's it. And Jake Busey just picks it up. He's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's like, thanks, Lieutenant, which means Michael Ironside, took the time,
Yep.
read through the files of his unit, called command, and he's like, shove a violin into that beer run.
I need at least 3 footballs.
But make sure it's a space violin.
Yeah, we're
I
on
need it to be
planet
neon
P.
green. It needs to come straight out of Batman Returns.
Yes.
And that fiddle leads us directly to Johnny Rico and Dizzy banging.
Oh, right. I forgot that Jake
Almost
Busey
banging.
is some sort of
You don't
like...
think because they got to...
No, they
Oh,
get
'cause
interrupted
But
by
didn't
war. They
Ironside
never
tell
bang.
him, didn't Ironside kind of give him like a little, all right,
make
you
it
got a couple
12
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, we should address that. But first, they slow dance, and Busey
Comes out of
aggressively comes
nowhere.
into the background.
It's
stares
incredible.
Down the barrel,
Yeah.
right between them, and
It
it's
is-
like plays.
It's
love
like
music.
if you were at a restaurant, right? Like one of those restaurants where it's like a romantic place and you can like pay the they have a violinist on staff and you can like pay them to play. But it is as if unprompted that musician just like emerged from the floor next
Yeah.
to your table and like stared directly into your eyes.
Big toothy grin.
Like he was the
He was
third
right
person in
there.
the couple.
He
Like
was
that's how close
right
he was.
there.
It was astounding.
Oh,
yeah,
This
wow.
whole thing, from beginning
great.
to end, was just
good art.
I
so
mean-
many things.
I
Okay,
can't
real quick,
believe
though.
that I had never.
When did it become so sad?
It's
Did
like
they
a
bang?
device.
Did they bang?
Bang, because war is hell, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dirge.
Okay, I got 2 did they bangs.
Okay.
Oh.
First one we'll do chronologically by
Okay.
film order. Johnny Rico and
Carmen.
Carmen.
Yes.
Carmen.
Carmen. Denise Richards.
My dad's not home tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
They banged at her house.
Definitely.
Great.
Sure.
Johnny Rico and Dizzy in the tent because they're getting down to business. They got tops off.
Yeah.
He traps
I mean,
her in
it
her own
takes
shirt.
a while. Yeah, like he like
kinda
essentially
weird.
traps her head in her own shirt.
They're playing hard to get it.
Okay.
She's into it. You can tell.
She is. I mean, that's her entire character is wanting to bang
Yeah,
Johnny
I think
Rico
she
and
has
also being good at football and murder.
And war.
Yeah, she's established she's dove to flock.
She is tough to flock,
Yes.
but only with Johnny Rico. It seems
Yeah,
like.
she's got so many better
Which is
candidates.
a shame because there are some
Yeah, no, he sucks,
pretty
and she
people
should.
in that
Yeah.
unit.
Yeah, we can talk about the hot bots
Oh my
in a
god.
second. It's a great podcast. But anyway, yeah, they are interrupted pre-coitus
Yes.
by Michael Ironside.
Yes.
Say we got 10 minutes to get to the P planet.
Yeah. Or whatever.
So you think they finished up?
We were all talking too much for me to really follow on, but it seemed like they were going back under the covers
Okay.
before the scene cut away, which suggests to me not let's get under the covers to put our shirts back on.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
Also, I think
A lot of pressure.
dad teacher
He was like, it's fine.
good job, son, student.
I mean, if anything, like it was practically a direct order. So
Yeah.
like he wouldn't, that'd be confusing as he's trying to brainwash this man to be his replacement in the military industrial
Once
machine.
his bottom half gets eaten by
Yeah.
bugs and his son student is forced to kill him.
I think they bang.
Yeah, I think so too.
Huh. I don't.
Okay.
Okay. I respect your opinion.
I also respect your opinion.
I just feel like they're about to go into war.
Yeah.
I just
They
don't.
love it though. War.
They do love
That's
war.
true. They probably are horny for war.
Okay, thank you. That is actually a perfect distillation of probably specifically those two of all of the
Okay,
people.
maybe they did then.
I think that's kind of the thesis of the movie, what Paul Verhoeven is doing. He's saying, get horny for war.
Right.
But then you're supposed to examine how stupid it is to be
horny
horny
for war. Yes.
And realize,
Don't be horny
don't be
for
horny
war.
for
You
war.
can be horny for war,
Yeah.
but the war will never be horny for you.
Whoa! Do you think that means that Dizzy is us as a people horny for war and only for war?
I'm listening.
And then, but war is never horny for her.
Oh, because war is Johnny Rico wet
Because
blanket.
Yeah.
war is Johnny Rico.
And
Yep,
then
there it is.
even when it seems like war is going to get with you, it ends up just killing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You die in a helicopter.
And also, like, war never seems to really be that into it to begin with. Like,
Yeah.
even when they are, like, tops off.
I know. And
ready to go.
I really felt like that,
Ugh.
like weird. I think I was supposed to be flirty and kind of dark where her face is covered
Yeah.
by her sweater, but her mouth is exposed. I was like, is he just pretending she's Carmen?
Ooh,
Oh.
boy. Or war?
I don't
Yeah.
know. It just seemed like real, like there were some real like hints of interesting stuff going on there with those power dynamics.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I feel like it was all intentional. Did you know? Can we talk about the shower scene?
Yes. Fun facts. Is
Absolutely.
this fun facts?
There is a fun fact included.
I love it.
Wow.
So we should mention that, I don't know, it's not that far into the movie, like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's like right after they've entered space. I was going to say space
They
camp.
get to know you.
Space boot
They're
camp.
like, hey, why is everyone here? What are
Yeah.
people's motivations for signing up? Takes place in a co-ed shower space.
Yes.
And everybody's just showering. And in
Like you
some
do
ways,
in
it's
a
like
shower space.
really good because I was convinced that all these people were just showering. You know what I'm saying? Like
everybody's acting like they were cleaning themselves.
yeah, like, I don't know how to explain it, but there wasn't any like, hee hee, we're all showering. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like very much like the 500th time they've all showered together,
Yes.
not like the first or second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently the actors only agreed to do that because the
I've
director,
heard this fun fact, yes.
they would only do it if he directed them while naked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Verhoeven was dropping trout.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember reading about that because Verhoeven, his take, like his telling that story was just like, they were like, okay, we'll only do it if you're naked. He's just like, okay, I don't give a fuck. And he like basically said, he's just like, Americans are so weird about nudity,
Yeah.
which I guess is also kind of part of the point of that scene too. It's
Yeah.
just sort of like,
'Cause you got through
look at
all
all
of
these naked
these,
people,
like,
and then
head
it's like
exploding.
90 minutes of like people's heads exploding.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of butts and boobs in that scene. And I think I speak for the whole podcast when I say
No.
we were all
I'm
very
already
disappointed.
shutting this
in
down.
the
Yep.
lack of male
Flaccid
frontal
dong. More dongs in film.
Molly forced us to rewatch the shower scene. This is true.
Molly,
This is a true.
This is canon.
This is real.
I can actually
This
confirm
is
that this is
off-pod
true.
canon. Molly forced us to rewatch. Beth, keep this in. Rewatch the shower scene.
Yeah. And I took special note of how much flaccid penis was in it. And there was zero, and they work
Come on,
hard
Verhoeven.
for that to be true. Like you see Busey turn at one point, and there's like a perfectly positioned shower pole that blocks his frontal parts.
I wonder if it is for ratings reasons.
It might be.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
I actually think that there is a difference between a flaccid and an erect dong.
Yes. I mean, there definitely is.
I mean, there's
For R ratings
Can't
versus
confirm.
Yes.
PG ratings.
yeah, specifically for ratings. Yes.
Yes, we're talking about ratings.
Yes.
What's happening?
Oh, I see.
Should I cut this out?
No, it's amazing.
But I'm just saying that I think that if I was gonna, okay, what am I
We got you.
I
I've got a very important phone call. Yeah, I think the way it works in the America's MPAA insanity is you can blow up as many heads as you want. You maybe, nowadays at least, maybe not in 97, but nowadays I feel like it's like you can have one flaccid dong.
Yeah, on any given Sunday.
What?
The movie Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino about
Yeah,
football.
seen it.
There's some flaccid dong. in
Oh,
it.
good for them.
Yeah, but locker room dong.
Sure. As this was basically
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that has to be dong that doesn't make sense. I'm just saying when it makes sense.
It would have made sense
Put
in
it
this
in.
scene.
It would have made sense, and I don't think that would have ruined their rating, is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think so.
But we rewound that shower scene, Molly, just so we can get the line from our
Yes.
favorite character, who I think is
Absolutely.
unnamed.
No, come on.
She just like the way they're all teasing Rico because he came to the military for a girl.
Yes, according to Diz.
According to this.
But he
I think
doesn't.
she
right.
definitely probably
She's right.
She's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also for like his deep-seated horniness for war.
Yeah. He's already for
That was
war,
implanted
and-
by Ironside in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. But she says what? Like,
Yeah.
it's like the amount of lip she puts on Lover Boy.
So expressive in the entire
And it's-
movie.
And I remember thinking it was like this big, long, really funny line,
Yeah.
but it's not.
We were just so thrown off
We
because
were just so thrown off because of the like fullness
it's
given.
such a contrast to Rico. Is probably what made it so funny to us. It's just like, who is this person? Like, what
Yeah.
movie did she come from?
She says a couple other things like that, and I can't remember specifically what they are.
But they're always
there
like
has to be a super
so
cut.
big.
yeah, so big. And then when they are on the plane and it's like kind of crashing, or it's just like there's a lot of turbulence because of
Bug
like
butts?
goo.
bug
Bugs
butts.
are pooping into space.
Yep.
Pooping laser beams. in space.
She is making the most insane faces. It is so funny to me because everyone else is like, and she's like, she looks like, I mean, she's maybe a stage actor because she's going,
Or
she's
maybe like
going for it.
a pre-talky actor, like maybe a silent.
Yeah.
Time traveler?
She's a type traveler.
Vampire?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Seems
believe
like
that.
I love it.
Oh, amazing.
She
She's so
was the
good.
best.
She's
Like-
my MVP by far.
She's the
Oh.
one that says, "Goddamn bugs whacked us."
Yeah, that was like
After Argentina
great
gets
one.
blown away.
that was like he's probably somewhere jacking off of this movie, and it was amazing.
What?
From Speed. Jesus. Check the tapes.
I don't remember that.
Um,
Blocked out of my
while we're
memory.
talking about incredible line readings.
Oh, and it's not like butt laser so much as it's just like butt goo.
Yeah, but it's like
Or laser goo.
phosphorescent goo,
It's like a
right?
Phosphorescent.
It looks like a
blue
stream.
meteor.
Like energy infused.
I mean, it's really
It's like a
got
Ghostbuster
trajectory.
stream.
Yes,
I
out
thought
of your
there was
butt.
Large and out of a
I
butt.
thought there was a projectile, and the blue
It
was
kind
like
of
the
seemed
comet
like there was a
trail.
projectile. Yeah. Okay, so it's like a high energy turd.
It was like a poop
Getting
comet.
yes, a butt comet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you for clarifying.
We all
I'm glad
agree.
we took that
All right.
time.
I did too. I mean, we can talk about Jake Busey for another 2 hours if you want.
Yeah, I do have more to say.
If we're talking about incredible line readings, I did write a couple down. One, which we all loved, was I guess this was all that test audiences allowed Paul Verhoeven to leave in of Xander and Carmen's relationship, was when she like implemented the navigation coordinates, whatever, of their ship, and he was just like, "Are you licking my navs or something?"
Yeah.
Amazing line reading. Good job, weird guy who plays Xander.
Yeah. He was, I didn't like him. I don't know if I was
because his
not
hair
supposed to
was
like him.
His hair was
disheveled.
very weird.
He seemed,
Okay, his hair was the opposite of Johnny Rico.
Yeah.
But the first time we see him, he is too sweaty.
I didn't clock that. What are you talking
When
about?
He's coming off the football field.
Dan,
He's just too. He's too.
you can't be
sweaty.
too sweaty
People who
because
kick ass.
Okay, well, if you really kicked ass, you'd get the fuck into F10, you candy ass.
Oh,
Talking to you, Dwayne the Rock.
oh,
wow.
Patreon.com for more discussion about this. Teaser.
Yeah, I just didn't like him. He was too sweaty. And he's.
That's what you didn't like about it?
I mean, that's like he is established as a sweaty man.
Yeah.
Moving in on
Karma.
Johnny's girl.
Yeah.
Don't know who to root for the longest time.
Yeah. Even the love story, like Beth's Beyond boyfriend, seemed to be losing his mind because he didn't know what romance to be focused
Yes.
he didn't know who to cheer for.
Yes.
on.
Also the point.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
For sure.
because they're all horny for war and they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the hair difference is remarkable.
Yeah, I agree with Molly. We need to focus on how shitty Xander's hair was.
Yeah, because it was just so intentionally like goopy and bad.
Yeah.
It was noticeably disheveled.
But like,
I think it's all
so
that
intentionally
free thinking.
disheveled that it was like Lego hair, where it was like they tried to like show, right? Like, it was sort of like in an attempt to make it look disheveled. There were like too many deliberate pieces of it going in different directions.
He looked like, what was that show? There was a show that was on
Friends.
It was Friends.
Was it?
No, it was like a kid show
I feel like Joey
where there
had
was
that
like
haircut at one point, right?
a girl, and she was like would wear all pink, and she had like a pink bob, and it almost looked like anime, but it wasn't, and it was like a kid's show.
Okay.
Oh.
Strawberry Shortcake.
So Nicki Minaj?
It's like a newer thing, but
Nicki Minaj's Animated Adventures.
and then there was like an evil guy that were all blue, maybe. I'm gonna find it.
Please do.
Wow.
I'm never gonna pull the name of it.
Tweet
It
it.
was after I was a kid. It was like younger kids would watch it.
Okay.
I'll find it.
Tweet at us.
Pink hair, good. Blue suit, bad.
Oh
Child
my God. The
Hashtag,
worst.
Hashtag.
bad hair day.
We'll know.
We'll know.
My favorite line of the entire movie. Can I say this?
Yeah.
Can I throw this out there?
Sure.
I can't even say it's an MVP because I don't know who said it because it was off camera.
Yeah.
It is when Johnny Rico gets his Dear Johnny mini disc where Carmen is like, I am breaking up with you because I'm making it a career out of being in the military.
Yeah.
Because we should have mentioned for the underlying subject of this movie that you can be in the military for 2 years. Well, you can be in the military for 2 years to gain citizenship, but then part of your oath when you join the military is for 2 years or as long as you are needed. Which,
Yeah.
Yeah,
boy.
as long as the Federation decides they need you.
Yeah, yikes.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Real quick, I just
Okay.
typed into a website, a search website, Pink Hair Girl Kids Show live action.
Yep.
And it came up right away, Lazy Town.
Awesome.
Easy
Never heard of it.
time.
Never heard of it.
It's not, I remember them having spikier hair. They don't even have spiky hair. It just has a mustache.
Mandela
Oh,
effect.
that looks familiar.
What a
Wait, which network is that on?
Might not be Turner.
probably.
Oh.
Well, okay.
there's no
it
spiky
was
hair guy?
on Nickelodeon,
Ah.
CBBS, Nick Jr., Disney Channel, Universal
What?
Kids, BBC, Super RTL. These are all networks it was on.
I mean,
Anyway.
once you get out of America, like other channels pick it
Yeah.
up.
I mean, I understand how distribution.
You looked very confused. I don't know.
No, I was focusing in because.
You're trying to hear a Turner channel.
Any Turner property at all.
Okay, well, anyway.
This podcast, we support whatever conglomerate owns Turner now.
Well, then we'd have to support AT&T. Although they're trying to spin off those jerks.
Which
They bought like all of
Warner Time.
Time Warner Media, which then they renamed. What is it, Warner Media now? Or no, they took all the names out of it. It's like
Media.
whatever, media.
It's just called media.
Yeah, and now they're spinning it off to like whoever the highest bidder is. I guess they're
Costa
spinning
Rica?
off their content piece. Yeah,
should we
No.
buy
Should
a
we
Turner?
buy
now?
Warner Media?
Who are we buying? We're buying
Patrons.
Warner or Turner?
All of it.
Let's buy TNT.
yeah. I think it's reasonable to just
Oh,
try
I'm
to
sure
carve
they'll
out
just
one of the
spin off
channels.
One channel, yeah.
They'll be like, "What are you doing with
So you're
TCM
you're
anyway?"
a regional movie podcast,
Yes.
and you want one
I
of
guess
our
we should get TCM instead of TNT. TBS?
I don't
Care.
know.
Very funny, just like our podcast.
Yeah,
that's
there
true.
you go.
Anyway, my favorite
That's
line
the-
in the movie. In the movie Starship Troopers, which this podcast is exclusively about.
Yes.
They're getting their mail, and someone off screen just says, "Oh, great, my dad."
Yeah. That would be great.
But
That's
amazing.
It just gives a lot of
Oh,
texture.
great.
Yeah, like it
Yeah.
just adds a level of humanity that we just didn't see in any of our primary characters.
Yeah.
This movie did pass the Bechdel-Wallace
It
test
did.
Oh, with
Multiple
flying
times.
colors.
like a bunch of times.
Early, too.
Early.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Diz,
Diz
and Carmen,
Yeah.
and then some other
The
times.
teacher talks to kids.
Yeah.
The Reuben
Carmen's
Clanahan.
like Carmen's
Oh,
Captain,
Superior, yeah.
yeah.
lady.
Ship-
Oh,
Is that
Amy
lady?
Smart is in
Oh,
this
Amy Smart is
movie.
in it.
Plays her best friend.
Yeah.
For a hot second.
find
Who
out
was
her name
named
at
at the
the
end during the
very end.
propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, multiple
Checks off.
Bechdels.
I'm shocked.
Mostly with Denise Richards, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like she was a spoke in that wheel every time. I believe some of us made a hot bet that this movie would pass.
Yep.
Some of us made a hot bet they didn't even fully believe in.
Yeah. Dan also got the year 1997.
Oh,
What is this? Dan's year? It is 2022, year of also Dan. Write it down.
First. Well, before we get to our final reviews,
shouldn't we talk for just a second about the Bad Bank?
Oh, we did promise to talk about.
We did promise to talk about it. We made Dan watch it.
Yes.
Yeah, we made me watch it,
And we made, at least for me, made him watch a much longer version
Oh,
of
yeah,
Footage
it
of
took
the Never
forever.
Lives
A
existed.
whole movie.
It was pretty wild. I mean, I knew. I already knew that it was John Travolta because we talked about how it was John Travolta.
Sure.
So I didn't get that joy of like, wait a minute. Travolta?
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. The moment of insanity is when he ho-ho-hos.
Ho, ho, hey.
You can't even,
And it's like just a very unconventional
Interpretation,
ho-ho-ho. Yeah. But then also, now I think we've said the company. Also,
I'm
like,
sorry.
shit.
Just can you bleep it out
Yeah.
in post?
Yeah.
we hate
Great.
Bad Bank.
But also, Bad Bank, give us money.
Yes.
Yeah, here I'll record it for you. Bad Bank.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Just put that over.
So yeah, all those ads feel like a fever dream to me. I watched
Right?
a lot of college basketball tournament this last year, and there are a ton of those with Sam Jackson, Spike Lee, Charles Barkley, and someone else,
Johnny Basketball.
Johnny Basketball, and they just like sit around, just chumming it up.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've seen one
Is
of
it
those.
still for Bad Bank?
It's Silver Bad Bank.
Okay.
But the thing I do like about those is that Sam Jackson is bringing a delightfully stylish old man loungewear that I'm very jealous of. They're like these matching sweatsuits that look very comfortable but also classy.
Nice.
So that's squad goals or whatever the kids say these days.
You want us to get matching loungewear?
Well, I was talking about for me, but I am very on board with matching totes.
I am
loungewear.
also on board.
Oh,
with
wow.
All right. We're
that.
in.
Patrons?
Fund this. Or
fund-
Bad Bank. Bad Bank should fund
Oh,
this.
yeah. Bad Bank, give us loungewear.
Stop supporting oil pipelines and give us matching loungewear.
We promise to not put your logo on it, but put our logo on it.
Yeah.
But we'll tell people we got it from you. But
From
we'll
you, Bad Bank.
Call you Bad
We'll
Bank.
call you Bad Bank.
And they'll know.
Deal?
You're the one that's bad.
Hit us. You know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Okay, yes. So now we've covered that.
Thank you,
What
Molly,
was it like?
You're
Thank
for
you,
keeping
Molly.
us honest.
I do my best.
Keep it real.
But the record show,
and
Molly
Denise
checked off a
Richards
box.
was married to Charlie Sheen from the years 2002 to 2006.
Fun facts. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
that's
he
even
was
later
an
than I
asshole to her.
I
Oh,
think
probably.
I feel like in his weird like Tiger Blood winning phase, it was sort of like
It was a rough
I
times.
feel like there was some discussion of I don't know. I think she was very diplomatic about it, where he's just like, yeah, he's struggling with a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I talked poorly of her.
It's fine. She can still be a bad actor, and you can want her to live a life
She
of
did
dignity.
exactly what the director asked her to
And, yeah,
do.
but she also. I
I
mean,
think she also maybe was just cast very well.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how much direction
She was better
needs to
than I
be
thought
with.
she
Let's
was
go
gonna be.
watch James Bond 18,000, the one where Denise Richards is in it.
I think Michelle Yeoh might be in that one
Oh,
too.
yeah, she kicks ass in that. The rest of the movie does not so much kick ass.
Yeah.
She's great though. She's always great. This is canon.
Ooh. Okay. 2022 bets. I'm stoked for that new Michelle Yeoh movie where she's like
1,000 Michelle Yeohs.
Yes.
dimension hopping.
It looks so good. I cannot wait to
Let's
see
talk
that.
about it when it happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is just about the movie Starship Troopers.
Molly's so bored she's doodling a flower right now. Sorry, you
And-
hate Michelle Yeoh.
We get things that you ask for.
Yes, that's right. Fan engagement happens before we give our final review of our podcast and an impression from the movie. No. Voicemail? No. But Discord questions? Yeah, baby.
Q's and C's.
Q's and C's. All right. Samai asks, why did people seriously call this fascist propaganda?
Oh,
Because they didn't. I think, Beth, you mentioned that, where it's just like, I think a lot of people would just watch this and not.
And not get it. But it's also based on, it sounds like it's based off of a book that is fascist propaganda. It's just done with a perhaps liberal twist.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Verhoeven touch.
That
makes
Yeah.
me
Verhoeven
think.
irony sauce sprinkled on top.
they just didn't get it.
All right. Carzon asks, is the story about the studios swapping around mid-production real? Regarding the ever-increasing campiness because studios stopped looking at their dailies. Is this the best B movie ever? 2 questions there.
Wow.
That is 2 questions.
Well, I can address the first question.
Great.
Okay.
Based on my exhaustive 2-site research.
Which
Oh.
site
One
was?
of which was a top 15 fun facts about the movie from Mental Floss. So you
Ooh.
know.
Mental floss.
You got some gunk in your brain.
Get your floss in your mind. Just like the bug. They sucked his brains out.
Wow.
That was the sound.
Mentalfloss.com.
That's from
Yep.
the movie.
Yep.
So apparently what happened is Sony was going through a really turbulent time and they kept bringing in and out executives. And so what would happen is the director, he was like, by the time like a studio director would figure out what movie I was making,
Yes.
they were replaced. So no one ever like stopped him from making this movie.
Sure.
And it also sounds like nobody knew how to market it either.
Clearly.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
that must be very true.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you'd be like, dislike fascism,
Right.
enjoy 1950s teen triangles, love triangles.
Yeah.
We got it.
Rhubarb.
Yeah, rhubarb.
Love rhubarb.
Yeah.
Sounds true. Is this the best B movie ever? Sure.
Sure. I don't know.
I thought it was great. I don't know. It feels like it's not a B movie
No,
though.
it didn't seem like a B movie to me, but
Like it's high budget, right?
Apparently.
It's
you
just
said it was
like-
like 100 million, right?
I mean, it isn't, but it is the formulaic of a B movie, right?
Yeah.
There's a enemy that's kind of gross, and you have teens fighting them.
I guess it's like the best B movie in that it's got that Paul Verhoeven irony sauce
Yeah.
dribbled all over it.
But apparently, he himself referenced B movies, so that he was looking at them too.
Yeah.
So it's not like it is, and that's what's so weird about this movie. Is
Right.
You just don't know what year it is. It's
yeah.
supposed to be the future, but it feels like the past.
The animation was actually pretty good, I thought.
Over the bugs?
The
For-
bugs look great.
for
Bugs held up.
97?
Yeah, man.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
And apparently they didn't have as much stuff to work with, so he was like using brooms and stuff, and sometimes he would get in there to represent the bugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Naked?
I hope so.
Only if they were in the shower.
Oh, right.
I hope after
After
they
that,
were
he's just
like,
like, all right, I'm just going to be
I'm
naked the
naked
whole
rest of
time.
the- yeah. You like this, American?
You asked for it.
Hey, Paul Verhoeven.
It's me, Paul Verhoeven. I'm making the fascist propaganda. Or do I? Wink.
Wow.
That's how he sounds, right?
Yeah. Trendy Irish. That's the Paul Verhoeven promise.
How dare you?
Great. Okay. Carzon also asks, is Dizzy's death too much of a fridging, or does it happen late enough in the film to feel acceptable? I do not know what fridging is.
What is fridging?
Fridging is a term that was originated by the comic book writer Gail Simone.
Oh my
in which
god.
she made, no, this is actually interesting. Fuck you.
Go back
she
to drawing my
basically-
flower.
So basically what happened is there's an infamous issue of some comic book that I can't remember where like some superhero's girlfriend gets murdered and he like finds her stuffed into his refrigerator or something. Right? Because a supervillain is like, I'm whatever, I figured out your secret identity. And then she was like, that's dumb and gross and unnecessary. So then she like basically went out of her way to sort of make almost a scholarly list of like all the times that a hero's partner, mostly girlfriends because it's comic book, so it's of course super heteronormative and male centered.
Yeah.
But just like how a partner's or a hero's partner is killed mostly just to advance that character's motivation to like be better or like fight the bad guy because now it's personal or whatever. And she was basically just pointing out how it's like it's so lazy, and since it's almost always one of the few women characters in the story, it's also just like as a whole, like a gestalt in our culture, like extremely problematic that it's like so easy to kill off like one of maybe just one
Yeah.
primary female characters in your story. And so now it's sort of become, because the list became known as like a blog post that she called it Women in Refrigerators based on that one infamous comic book. And so now the term fridging has come into the lexicon of pop culture of just like, yeah, basically that, just like killing off a love interest solely for the purpose of creating a more complex story for the protagonist.
No, like I think honestly, like if someone had just said to, like I honestly think if his mentor, his teacher had said to him, instead of take over command, had said, quit and get a job as an insurance agent, I think he would have done it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Although
Like-
he was in pretty deep at that point.
He was, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he was motivated by any external force that wasn't an authoritarian force. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was. I mean, that didn't motivate him to do what he did. He wasn't like, for Dizzy at any point.
Right.
He was barely for Dizzy when they were banging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Agreed.
it was...
And thank you for supporting that they were banging.
Yes, agreed. It does feel like, because at that point, like we kind of talked about this at the beginning, like at that point, Dizzy was just sort of like the last one on the list, right?
Except
Except for fucking Busey. Yeah. Because it was like, by the end, it was like, every
Maybe
character.
that wasn't his writer. Maybe he was the
I
most
hope
famous
so.
person coming to this.
God,
This
that'd
is
be
big.
amazing.
Denise Richards' big break. This
Oh,
movie. It's
Starship
her first major
Troops?
movie. Mm-hmm.
interesting.
That she was the lead in.
Wow.
She'd done some other movies,
Sure.
small roles.
Sure.
Great.
But I don't think it does anything to fuel, but it is like her death is also unnecessary to the story.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it sort of clears a path, I guess, for him to get back together with.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost...
He just
I
like
get-
makes him pure military man. Now he has
Yeah.
no attachments other than now he can be purely horny for war.
She
Yeah.
almost got fridged for like every character, right? Because like her funeral is like the moment. Like her funeral is
sure.
like the scene where they go like full Nazi. Like even their funeral garb is like full on like
And that's what we
Nazi
see.
uniforms.
NPH
That's when you
with-
first see Gestapo and PH.
Yeah.
I guess
Oh,
so.
I went to the bathroom.
So,
Yeah,
So like,
you're right.
yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue that she got fridged for like the entire movie's story.
Yeah.
But not necessarily for Rico himself as
Yeah.
a human being, because he was barely a human being.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They shoot her into space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all sci-fi movies do, because as Dan rightly pointed out, you can't waste the space with human cadavers.
The more interesting choice is that they get put back into like the soil on the ship and become help grow the plants in the horticulture.
Or just go full Fremen and take all of their precious water.
That's right.
But don't you have to? Then you have to store a bunch of like space caskets.
It's true.
It seems like it takes up more
Maybe
space.
it's like flat packed, like IKEA.
Or you think you just add water in it?
I don't know.
Precious water.
Oh yeah.
That's
Just to get all that.
Ooh, that reminds me real quick. So many times actors just got shit thrown on them in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like bug goo?
Bug
Yeah.
goo, and then even like Ironside when he dies, like that's when I obviously like the goo is just sort of like sure they're killing bugs, of course there's going to be goo, but even when Ironside dies in like the bug hole, there's just a bunch of like sand getting kicked up, and just like clearly there's someone just off camera with like a bucket of sand just throwing it into his face.
Yeah.
And,
That's
like,
hard.
A naked Verhoeven, I hope.
oh, enjoy the sand, Michael.
No, react.
Please, no, don't look at me. I'm so bashful. Sorry. So, Karzan, yes and no, I
Yes
think is
and
the
no.
answer.
It's
Yeah.
complex. She deserved better. I'll say that much.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, clearly she
Out of
deserved
life
any
and-
other love
Love
interest.
interest, yes.
Oy.
Jake Busey, even.
Come on. I mean, apparently
he's
he's
a
like
survivor.
the golden boy. Yeah.
All right. Our rating scale, as we all remember, is Denise Richards is underrated viral TikToks.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which are viral TikToks made by Z people
Yeah.
who have just discovered Denise Richards and wondering why no one is talking about her more.
Yep.
Okay.
Because she's so underrated.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And the number that you gave is how many in the series of viral TikToks there are.
Sure. So are we thinking like it's just one person, right? Is this all like one person, or this is like a community thing? Like the TikTok zeitgeist is discovering Denise Richards.
Oh, I was imagining it's one. But
Me too, but now I want clarification.
I feel like it is one at a time, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Much in the way that Olivia Rodrigo's breakup was.
You should be making eye contact with the other Dan when you talk about this, because I have no idea what you're talking
documented.
about.
I do know this album. I did
Yeah,
listen to it.
a
I'm
TikToker who
almost
was
40.
like, this song, Driver's License, is about her breakup with
Okay.
her co-star from High School Musical, the musical.
Got it.
And that spawned from that many more
Mm-hmm.
of people explaining similar types of things. So I feel like it's one person who starts it,
Mhm.
right? but then others join in.
Okay.
Okay.
But are we saying that of these 5, these are all the original person, or these are
Yes,
the
these 5 are just the originals.
Got it.
That'll
So
keep it simple.
They
We'll keep
plant,
it simple.
They plant up to 5 seeds
Yes.
into the
Right.
TikTokiverse.
Yes.
These are and they all go viral.
They all go
I mean,
viral.
this person might be making other TikToks, but
Sure.
Everyone's
How many
in it
go
for
viral?
the Dennis,
Denise Richards.
Denise Richards. Denise Richards. Oh. It is. Hold on.
Oh, is it after midnight?
12:02.
Oh, I knew
there
it.
it
That
is.
is when
There it
I'm
is.
pulling out
There
what
it
that
is.
whatever that dude's name is.
yeah.
Peter.
Peter something.
Sally.
Skarsgård.
Oh.
Yes, Peter Skarsgård. Skarsgård.
God.
Let's do this.
Ooh.
Dan, you gave it a 4. I was enthralled / spacing out during your explanation. So I just wrote journey because you went on a real mental
You
journey.
just
with-
wrote Journey?
I wrote journey. Of like,
I agree with
it's good, but maybe bad, but will it thread that needle well? I think that was sort of
Yeah.
your through line.
I think it thread the needle well enough, but I think the reason it felt like it didn't quite succeed is because there was like 30 minutes unnecessary bug war.
Yeah.
Which again, even that maybe was intentional of just like, okay, now we're going to throw you in the dumb action movie, but then right at the end remind you like, oh no, these are space Nazis and you're a bad person for enjoying this.
Yeah.
But still it was like too long.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of where it felt like it was like, okay, we get it. Like it's, I don't know.
I mean, after you've made all those interns dance out there with broomsticks, you
Yeah.
can't just cut their scene.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, all those naked
Naked.
people with broomsticks with little motion capture dots
Yeah.
on their faces. And only their faces, you sickos. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Yeah.
12:04. I believe I also made the vow. Let's make a vow.
Let's
Make
a
Make a
vow.
vow that if what was it? I believe if I retained my initial rating, I would be the progenitor of the viral Denise Richards TikToks. Beth, you're gonna have to teach me how to join TikTok.
I don't know how to do
Oh.
TikTok.
Let me rephrase that. Beth, you're gonna have to tell me if I should make a Totes recall TikTok.
Sure.
Okay. Because I am sticking with 4 Denise Richards viral videos.
Wow.
I did. This movie still ruled in the way that I thought it would rule. It was just a little too long, so I'm sticking to 4. And by a little too long, I mean like 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah, no, this deserves to be a tight 90 like all film. Beth, you gave it a 1. You said there's no way I'll like this movie.
Yeah, this is a hard one to rate because I didn't really like it.
Sure.
And there wasn't much about it that I was like, huh, that's interesting. But I did think that there was some interesting things to it. So I think I'm going to add 1 more point and do 2 Denise Richards is underrated viral TikToks.
So like out of respect for trying.
Yeah, I think maybe it deserves even higher than that, honestly. I think it wasn't quite, it didn't push that kind of like what it was trying to say enough for me to enjoy it. It was too much of what it was kind of like pushing at, or like, I don't know, like poking at, I guess is the word I'm looking for. For me to say like, yes, I am fully behind it. So yeah, I'm going to stick with 2.
What if they had killed Jake Busey in minute 15?
Would I have given it more points? I kind of like that he didn't die.
I know.
Well, he
Okay.
wouldn't have got his fiddling if he had
Oh,
died
you're
that
right.
early.
Never
Yeah,
mind. Never
that
mind.
was-
Never mind. That's a terrible hypothetical.
Yeah.
-3 stars if they killed Jake Busey before fiddle time.
Yeah. I'm done.
Okay.
I apologize for pulling you into my weird obsession with Jake Busey.
I gave it 4. I can't read my note.
Does it say Journey?
No, it says counties or
It looks like it says coitus.
coitus. I don't think that's why I rated it a 4. Well, who knows?
Candy. Cat people.
Candy?
Court
Cat.
Is it about Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
courteous. Doesn't matter.
Great.
Wow.
Unreadable. But this movie ruled. I was cackling frequently. I never said that's a good one because there were good ones and I felt them all the way through my body. And it did more than I thought it was going to do. like I agree it didn't quite stick the landing on figuring out how to be a good satire, but I also maybe appreciate that as well.
It's hard.
I can't give it a 5 because it also kind of sucks. But I am going to go 4.5. I really enjoyed this movie. It was too long.
Yeah. So is a half TikTok where like you accidentally stop the recording like mid-sentence?
Yeah, it's in my drafts folder. If that's a thing on TikTok. I don't know.
We are way too old to
We are
know.
so old. Oh, come at us, Z-heads.
Please do.
Follow us on-
Chewbacca.
Yeah, we're too Chewbacca. You gotta come.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Whatever that word was that Dan said before
Yep.
this baby reeled her.
Oh, is that what you have written down next to your number?
Oh, did you write Chugi?
Chugi?
Nah, that can't be a G.
Who knows?
Okay, Molly, you wanted to give it a 1, but because I talked bad about Denise, she gave it a 2.
Yeah, I think I liked this movie.
I'm listening.
I'm very
I
surprised.
would like to know more.
I don't know that I've had a movie experience where I've felt so challenged by material, which on the face of it is not that challenging.
That might be the perfect explanation of this movie.
It's like I feel like I could struggle for another week to try to describe the tensions within this movie and the tension that I brought to this movie. Just like trying to understand it. And like it's almost indescribable. So I won't belabor this except to say that I think if I look back and I think of everything as a very deliberate choice, that really works. Like that makes sense.
Yes.
Because the movie does not make sense. Mm-hmm. But if it was a deliberate choice, it does.
Whoa.
Yes.
Which, like, honestly, like, breaks my brain about art and society. I kind of already had feelings about war. I'm just, I don't know, guys.
Are we high right now?
It might be. So for simplicity, I'm going to give it 4 TikToks.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think it's the most I've ever come up.
Yeah.
In a
That was a
day.
huge Molly jump.
It is. And, I could wake up tomorrow morning feeling like I should have given it a 5 or given it a 2.
I know.
have
That's
no
how
idea.
I feel about it. I'm like, I don't, like, is 2 right or should I give it a 4? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, you'll never know.
Exactly.
Oh, no. What are my movies even about? Oh, now I'm
Messing with me, the stupid movie.
I'm going to go make an erotic thriller with nuns that piss off certain groups.
Sony never figured it out.
I think that one's also based on a book.
Spooky book.
We didn't even talk about the like
Book.
weird. I found the social media news outlet
Yes.
stuff
Yes.
was like
So accurate.
Where there
weirdly
was, like,
current.
This
Yeah, it was.
deliberate
You want to know
choice
more.
of like you either click on more or you go like, no, I want to learn about this other subject matter.
It was like just a Facebook,
Yeah,
like,
I
It
got
was like a
radical.
DVD menu.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
a YouTube autoplay. I got radicalized just by watching,
Right?
yeah,
which I guess is the point.
Right.
yeah.
He predicted Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Oy. Maybe Zuckerberg.
Maybe
Watch
it
this
needs like
movie.
a 6. Is it a 6?
Whoa.
Beyond a 5.
Wow.
It's AFI 0.
Excuse me?
It's on the AFI, but above number 1, 0.
Oh.
I thought you were like saying like the name of Elon Musk's kid or something. I was like, what?
Isn't this kind of just like a symbol or a color or something?
It's like a bunch of characters.
Oh,
Maybe for short they put
man.
fuck
my
Elon
God.
Musk, right? Yeah.
I'm so done.
Yeah.
That's like a anyway.
More dongs in movies and
Yeah.
fuck Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
That is canon for this podcast.
Yeah.
I'll get behind one of those things.
I know you are a big head.
It is 12:11.
Yeah. Okay.
We are crushing this.
And with that, nope, that's not my line.
That is your line.
Oh, it is?
But like an hour and a half ago.
Oh.
She got so excited. She was like, I can end the podcast at any time.
Whoa.
It's 3 a.m.
I must be
podcast going.
Ooh, it's me, Paul Verhoeven. Oh, look at my buns.
Look at my
There's a bug
my little butt.
hole.
I'm prancing across the desert with 2 broomsticks. Oh, I'm coming to get you, newsman. I'm a bug. I'm a little bug. Oh, boy. No, Denise. More wooden smiling. Casper, stop emoting.
It just really doesn't make sense.
Oh,
like,
Denise, you're so perfect for my movie. That's definitely what he sounds like, right?
Yeah.
Hey, podcast over.
Totes Recall is hosted by Molly Chase, Beth Gibbs, Dan DeQuette, and Dan Linden. Produced by Beth Gibbs. New episodes of Totes Recall drop on the 15th of every month. For more information and bonus content, visit us at totesrecall.com. Thank you so much for listening.